Welcome to the third day of Education Week. You've made it through to the middle of the week. Good job. My name is Christopher Banks. I'm a product education specialist here at BGL. Today's session is on streamlining your practice, integrations in Simple Fund 360, Simple Invest 360, and CAS 360. So we'll be looking at practice management and integrating all our contacts and clients together between Simple Fund 360, Simple Invest 360, and CAS 360, as well as XPM. But before we get started, just a bit of housekeeping. Again, you've heard this multiple times, but the webinar is recorded, and you will be sent a link via email to the recording. You're also on mute mode. You'll be unable to use the chat feature or talk throughout this webinar. However, we do have a Q&A section. So if you have any questions throughout the webinar, either myself or one of my colleagues that are here today as well, I will be able to answer your questions. So please reach out there. We will also have a space at the end for any further questions. So again, we've gotten through to the middle of the week. We're on today's Words Wednesday. We're on the first webinar of Wednesday's education webinars. So we're going through streamlining your practice. We're integrating with Zero Practice Manager, and we're looking at how syncing up all your clients and contacts can really make things faster and keep everything nice and tidy. Later on in the day, the rest of this Wednesday is all themed about integrations. So 1 p.m. we'll be looking at shares, registries, and wraps. So the share data feed, registries, and wrap feeds. And then at 3:30, it'll be looking at bank feeds and open banking. So yeah, today's all about integrations. So if you haven't signed up for some of these webinars that you can see in this list, and you're interested in them, I've just posted a link in the chat. You can sign up there to any of these future ones. And again, if you do sign up, you don't have to attend the webinar because again, you'll be sent the link to the recording. So even if you can't make it, if you're interested, please feel free to sign up. So as by the name of this webinar implies, today we'll be looking at an integration that works with CAS 360, Simple Fund 360, and Simple Invest 360. We also have another software in our BGL suite. That's SmartDocs 360. It's our AI-powered paper-to-data solution. I covered that yesterday in yesterday's 10:30 webinar. So if you missed that, be on the lookout on the BGL Corporate Solutions channel, as once the videos start getting uploaded, you'll be able to access and we'll rewatch that webinar. So on today's agenda, we're going to be looking at what contacts and clients and contacts are connected to or are linked in the integration between the BGL suite and XPM. Then we'll be looking at the clients and contacts list. That's the screen where you make sure everything's matching up and all connected to each other. Any changes that come through, you can review them there if you've set it up so that you review it first. And then finally, we'll be going through and reviewing data and duplicate contacts and how to deal with them. There. So first, what types of clients and contacts are actually synced between the XPM, Zero Practice Manager, or any of the practice management software? Do we have a few that are integrated? I'll send a link to the support article now, if you're interested in the other ones we also have integrations with. So for CAS 360, the clients are synced companies and trusts, and the contacts synced are directors, joint members, shareholders, unit holders, and beneficiaries. For Simple Fund 360, It is, of course, just self-managed super funds, and the contacts are the members, trustees, and directors. And then for Simple Invest 360, it's companies, trusts, and individuals, as well as for the contacts, it's trustees, directors, shareholders, unit holders, and beneficiaries. In terms of the actual details of those clients and contacts, for the company SMSFs and trusts, it'll be the type, name, physical address, postal address, business number, company number, email, phone, and mobile. For the individuals and all contacts, the it's going to be the type, title, name, gender, physical address, postal address, date of birth, director ID, email, phone, and mobile. So if we jump out of our slides here, we've just logged into CAS 360. Where do we get to even looking to potentially set up this Zero integration? I can't really go through it. I can talk you through it, but I can't go through it because I've already got it all set up. So we can go through the next stages. But on CAS 360, it's in the same place as Simple Fund 360. Top right, we have the app switcher. Click onto that, and we have this integrations page. So we select integrations, and that brings us to our connected apps. So if we jump to the practice management settings, if you were going to set up uh, the integration for the first time, you'd select which software here from the BGL suite you want connected to each other, and then you'd have more options than just Zero Practice Manager here. But in our case, we've got Zero Practice Manager. You'd also sign in for Zero Practice Manager. You just click connect. It'll ask you to sign in and allow. You say yep, and it will take you back here. Put an email to receive important notifications and alerts. That way, when you start the synchronization, when it's done, it'll send out an email telling you that it's been finished. You'll also need to manage business structures before you start the synchronization. So making sure certain Zero business structures integrate with the integration business structures. You can change this later. As you can see, we can edit it now and start async if we change any of these custom or pre-existing business structures that we have in Zero. There is a couple of prerequisites before I recommend you click Start Synchronization. Basically, for both Zero and the BGL suite, what you want to do is go through and clear out any duplicates contacts that you have, because it will mean less headache later when you sync them all up and realize now you have 4 different contacts attached to the one. You don't know which one's the one you want the most, the one that should actually be linked. There is a section on this help article here that I've just posted in the chat that goes through how to generate the report for Zero Practice Manager's side to go through and find all the duplicate contacts, as well as how to quickly clear up duplicate contacts on Simple Fund or the BGL Suite side of things. Where this disconnect all products button is, instead, if this was your first time synchronizing and you hadn't synced everything up yet, this would be a start synchronization button. You'll click it, it'll put a big text banner here saying it'll have a big banner here saying that it's starting to sync and you can't do anything until it's finished. Hence why we recommend that you put your email in here so that when it's done, you'll get that email. We have a question here following error message on my practice management settings page. Error post sync from Zero Practice Manager, failed to pull data from Zero. What does this mean and how do I fix it? If you didn't hear, which it's been on the news, AWS, Amazon Web Services, went down Monday night and then kind of yesterday. I had issues yesterday morning in my webinar with the SmartDocs 360 and our connection was zero, couldn't send the data on one of them. It's just an issue with that. Try re-authenticating. If that doesn't work, I would recommend reaching out to the support team. It's just, yeah, it's a leftover issue of the Amazon Web Services going down. So if re-authenticating doesn't fix it, try reaching out to our support team. All right, so once you've got that email that synchronization is done, it's gonna look like this. You have the settings here. So these settings here are Zero Practice Manager automatically updates BGL and BGL automatically updates Zero Practice Manager. If you turn these on, if you have pre-existing linked clients and contacts in your software, if you make any changes to the that like contact, if you make that change in Zero Practice Manager and you have this first toggle turned on, what it's going to do is once we receive the data here into the client and contacts list, it's going to automatically just push that data straight, those changes straight onto the BGL, all the connected BGL products. And then you have the opposite. If you make a change in BGL, it's then going to, in like CAS 360, it'll push it on to the other two. And then if you have this toggle on, it will automatically push it to Zero Practice Manager. We have them as toggles, so that way you have more control. Maybe you want to only make changes, create changes in Zero Practice Manager if you ever want to change your contacts. So you have it set up so that if you make a change in BGL, it doesn't actually go across. You have to review it first and then decide whether it should. Whereas you may have it so if you make a change in Zero Practice Manager, it is automatically pushed straight to once we get the data from Zero, it'll be automatically pushed to the BGL suite. So our next screen, once we've got everything synced, our next screen you can see up in the top right here, it's the client and contact list. This is the client and contact list. This is where all of the clients and contacts that we have in all four connected products stored. We have various different options on the sidebar here, but just going through on the main screen here, you have all your different names for all your contacts, what their business structure is. So we can see Jasmine here is an individual, but Education Week is an SMSF. When it was last modified, we have another question of how often do the system syncs. I was going to cover that later, but we'll jump to the slide now. If it's a new contact or any change to an existing client contact in Simple Fund 360, Simple Invest, or CAS 360, it will be received by the clients and contacts list in real time. So when I added one, made some changes last night, took about 2 to 3 minutes before I finally saw it come through. For XPM, however, if you're adding a new client or contact, it's going to take up to 2 hours for that change, for that new contact to client/contact to be added. If it's a change to an existing client, the contact that's linked, you will have the option to refresh the client details in the client details screen, which we haven't looked at just yet, which will allow you to quickly import the data. So if I jump back to this tab, we also have the status over here and the product. So we can see Jasmine here is only in Zero, but we can see Education Week is both in Simple Fund 360 and Zero. That refresh button, what I was talking about here, we can see my SMSF that I created here, the data that we've got. This is the client details screen. So we have Simple Fund 360 and Zero Practice Manager, and then it's got matched for all of our data. However, we can click these three little dots. You can do it for all the different products that are linked. So we can come here. We have the option to just go to Zero Practice Manager like this example type here. So I added a phone number under the contact details. That hasn't come through. So what we can do here instead is refresh, since this is a pre-existing client that we've already got linked. And we can see that the phone number is now here. So if you do need to pull data in from Xero quickly, you can come and refresh it. Otherwise, generally, Simple Fund 360, Simple Invest, and CAS 360, it should be updated soon after you make the change. So coming back to this screen, again, like the buttons before in the client details, if you mouse over them, we can click Education, we can jump to Simple Fund, or we can jump to Xero Practice Manager and quickly access the client in there if we need to. On our sidebar here, we have the various different filters that can help filter out this contact list. So the first one is linked. If you have any contact that's linked between two different products, so if it's Simple Fund 360 and CAS 360, or if it's to Simple Fund, CAS 360 or to Xero Practice Manager, as long as it's linked to one other product, it's going to show up here. And you can select multiple of these checkboxes. So we can go down to product here, which has a various different, is this contact not in CAS 360? Is it not in Simple Fund? Is it not in Xero Practice Manager? So if we toggle that while also having linked, we can see the few contacts here that are linked to Simple Invest and CAS 360, but they're not linked to Practice Manager, to Xero Practice Manager. Not linked is any contact that isn't linked to any other product. So review data is any contact currently that has some kind of issue with the data between the software. So it'll come up red. Well, look, we've got BGL Training Fund. We click in, and we can see here that on Simple Fund 360, the physical address is 606 to 608 Hawthorne Road. But if we look at Xero, both the physical and postal address is 12 Market Street, South Melbourne. So there's an issue between the two linked contacts. So something needs to be done. Over on the right-hand side, where it had all the matched, we now have an option to review data. So we can choose to select the data from Simple Fund 360 or select the data from Xero Practice Manager. And it will, any mismatch in data, it's going to show up here. And we can make that change. We also have the option to ignore the field from the sync. If you have multiple fields like we do, at the top here, we have this select all data from. And in any of these fields here, if you choose Xero Practice Manager, it's going to update every single field in Simple Fund 360 with the data from Xero Practice Manager. And vice versa, if you select Simple Fund 360, it's going to update the physical and postal address with the data from Simple Fund 360. So if we do that now, we'll say that the postal address is actually correct in Xero Practice Manager. Once we select it, it's saying you have unsaved changes. The data highlighted below will be applied to all products after you click save. So we can see that Xero's is green and our postal address in Simple Fund 360 is orange. So we know that's the data we've selected and that's what it will be saved to. Once we click save, it's now updated that change. And so you haven't had to go into Simple Fund 360 and quickly change it. You've just had to do it from this screen. That's where those two toggles earlier in the settings come from. because this is a pre-existing linked client, if you had made this change while it was linked and those toggles were turned on, because originally they were actually off when I first set up the data for this webinar, this data would not be here. It would have just automatically seen that we've made a change in zero and updated it accordingly. So now we can go, if we go back, and you would repeat this, go through each contact, slowly making those changes until all the statuses are changed to link rather than review data. Again, we also have review duplicate. So this is if I type in, we have this search bar, so to quickly find a contact you want. So I'm going to type in Jim's Test Company under full name. So we can see, if we jump back, we can see this number here. If you were wondering what that number meant, it means you have duplicate contacts. So we can see zero for Jim's Test Company. In zero, there are 3 different Jim's Test Companies. So when we bring it in, the client and contact screen is having some issues. And the way that's displayed is on this screen here. There's no data difference in data between them, so it's kind of hard to tell. But you can see this little one. Might help if I zoom in. But it's this little one with an arrow here on the zero section. So yeah, instead of spacing it out like before, it'll only be displayed differently if it's for a different product. But if you have a duplicate, it'll be on the one product here, so Zero Practice Manager. And we can see if we click through, even though the data doesn't change, because there's actually no data in between uh, each duplicate contact, well, there's no difference in data. We're actually selecting a different client here, with each one of the contacts that has been duplicated. All we have to do to rectify this is come up, click the 3 dots, and unlink. So now if we go back, we only have 2. So we would repeat that again until we've gotten the duplicate contact amount. There. So we can see now we have 2 separate ones. One is the not linked one that we just unlinked. The duplicate that we just unlinked. Now I've clicked on suggested match and it's empty. It's because we still have that search bar there. Remember to clear it out. So suggested match, unfortunately, I don't have any data here that really shows it off well. But essentially, if you had a client, it's supposed to be for if you have a client in zero and you have a client in one of our BGL suite products, and they have the same name and they appear to be the same contact, but they're not actually linked, it's going to show up here under suggested match. And if you check both and they seem to be the same contact, all you have to do is click 2 of them. I can't show it off here because they're already all my contacts here are already linked, which is unfortunate. But similar to matching a transaction in Simple Fund 360, you click the 2 checkboxes next to the 2 contacts that are the same in 2 different products. You'd come up to actions here. I can't open it. Unfortunately, it's grayed out. But under that, there would be a match option. And then you could click match and it would match the 2. It would link the 2. If we had 2 separate Joseph Jones, one that was in CAS 360 and then one that was in zero, it would match them and link those 2 contacts together. So then any changes you made in zero would be brought across to CAS 360, and any changes you made in CAS 360 would be brought across to zero. Like I said before, the product section here is for looking at contacts that aren't in a software. So you have not in CAS 360, not in Simple Fund 360, not in Simple Invest, and not in Zero Practice Manager. If you want to look for at a specific business structure, you can select the contacts here. If you're looking for something that might have been recently modified, you can click Modify in the last 7 days. and then make the relook at what's been quickly last modified. You also have the option for 8 to 30 days and modified greater than 30 days. If you have anything that's been created recently in the last 7 days, you have that option there as well. We have a question here. Is it possible to integrate the data from an SMSF audit client, an accounting client of another firm on SF3 on another firm on SF360? But whereas the auditors we are invited to in order to populate data? Uh, if my understanding of what you're asking is no, because it's tied to your firm, you would essentially be tying your zero practice manager to their firm rather than your own. So that may result in issues. So I would very much advise against doing that. Remember, we always have the provide feedback option. So if you want to see it, I recommend leaving that feedback. But as I currently understand at this point in time, that is not recommended. The final little filter we have down here is the only show is the other, which is only show BGL contacts without relationships. So what this means is any BGL contacts that don't actually have a relationship to anything. So for my example here, James Jones, I made him last night. He's not connected to any form of client or any client, so any company, SMSF, anything. Trust. He was just someone I created in the contact screen in Simple Fund 360. So it's got his data here, but he shows up under the only show BGL contacts without relationships. Our next one is only show hidden clients / contacts. If you want to hide a contact so it doesn't often show up when filtering for certain statuses, if you click the checkbox, we have an action here, hide client / contact. Here we go. So this is what I was talking about before with match clients. We can technically match James Jones and Logan Mint Rose together because they're not in the same product. So yes, Christina, is it possible to link two similar contacts in CAS 360 to one in XPM? If there's a middle name different only, yeah, well, you can clearly see we can technically match James Jones and Logan Mint together. So even if there's a name difference, you are able to match them up. Of course, it's then going to have a review data section immediately pop up saying, hey, half this data is not matching. What's going on? And so you would need to go into that user and probably tell it to ignore that sync. But again, if you want it to be hidden, we do have a great question from Olga. Sorry, just before I continue. If I set up an SMSF in XPM along with members, along with the members and integration with BGL is active, will this automatically link accounts and create profiles in BGL? If it's a brand new contact in one of the products, no, you can see I made James Jones here, and it's only got it in Simple Fund 360 / Simple Invest. Hasn't automatically created it in Xero. However, from this screen, instead of having to go into XPM and then we make James Jones and then we link all the data together, all we have to do, click the checkbox, add client or contact to product, and from here we can click for CAS 360. It's going to ask us, it's going to do this for every software. It's going to ask to make sure, hey, make sure you don't have a duplicate. I'm going to click add, and now we have the contact in CAS 360. Again, we can do that for just again, we can do it for Simple Invest. We can do it for Zero Practice Manager. So I can click add client to Zero Practice Manager, click add. Again, come over to this screen where it will come over to the product section. We can click on Zero to go to Practice Manager. And we've got James Jones automatically added to Zero Practice Manager. So yeah, it won't if it's a brand new client, it won't automatically bring that across because it wants to be sure, we need you to be sure you want to link it. But if it's a pre-existing linked client and you make an edit, that's what those settings are in the practice management screen here. It's so if you have a linked client and you make an adjustment either in Zero Practice Manager, it's going to automatically update BGL side. And if you have a linked client from BGL side to Zero Practice Manager, you make that change in BGL, it's going to automatically update in Zero Practice Manager. But if it is a brand new client, it won't update that straight away. You'll need to just come to the clients and contacts list, select, and then just add the contact. But then as soon as you do, it's going to bring that, it's going to link it, and it's going to add all the data that's in whichever product you initially sent that contact up in directly into Zero Practice Manager for you. The last section here is for clients and contacts with pending changes in CAS 360. We have another follow-up from Olga. So if you have, does it work the other way around? If you have a new client and you create the profiles in XPM, what's going to happen is you're going to have to wait 2 hours for it to come. As long as you've got this connection set up, you're going to have to wait 2 hours for it to come through. After which, it will then populate after that 2 hours. It'll then populate in here. You'd be able to select that. What we do is, let's say you want it in CAS 360. You go, not in CAS 360. We can see here, we have a few here. Like, let's say Jasmine Quinn is one of the ones you wanted to bring in. Click that checkbox, add to product, add to contact, and it will bring all the data you added into Zero that you've got here and bring it directly in. To CAS 360. No worries, Olga. Uh, is there a part I can see Daniel's answering it, but is it possible to like unlink a contact if mistakes are discovered? Yes, as we went before, you click into a contact. You can click into any contact if we go to BGL Training Fund. We have the option to unlink. It'll always be there. Generally, we recommend it for duplicate contacts so you don't have that issue. But if there's an issue and you need to go review the whole contact, or you may need to, like, there's some kind of issue, like the fund is completely wrong. You need to start again. You need to delete this SMSF. You could unlink it, delete it, start that new fund, make sure it's all correct, and then relink it back to this Zero client. We've won way over time, so just really quickly recap. That's on me for answering questions and not checking my time, but really quickly, what this is talking about here, changes with pending changes. If there is a change that will affect that you'll need to prepare forms for in CAS 360, it will be sent as a notification, and then in that notification there'll be your option to process and prepare those forms. So if we come back here, I made a change to Joseph Jones last night. He was John Jones, and I changed his name and his address. So if we come here, we can see the bell notification icon. Maybe if I zoom in. So, whoop, a little too zoomed in, but we can see this notification section here. If we click it to open it, we can see here that both the contact name has been updated and the contact address. And so on both of them, we have the option to prepare forms. So even if you make that change in XPM, it updates in CAS 360. CAS 360 is going to get this change and then go, oh, would you like me to prepare forms or do you just want to save this update? So if we click prepare forms, it's going to take us to the multiple changes screen. It's going to load in our contact. It's going to automatically put the data in, and we choose the name layout. We click proceed. Well, we click proceed. And now we have John Jones here ready to change his name to Joseph Jones. And then we'd repeat for address change as well. Proceed. And then we could prepare those forms and send them off.